Hey, this is Abraham Lieberman with Bel Air Rehab Spot. I want to talk with you about a patient that we saw. Really interesting trauma case. She was walking her dog and a big dog jumped out and tried to bite it and she stuck her leg in. Very brave of her. And it's a young, athletic boxer, and she sustained this injury to her thigh. And as the tissue was healing, she was doing her exercises, but she had this loss of sensation. It was really bothersome, and she had gone to get specialized tests to see whether or not there was damage to her nerve, which was an EMG study, a nerve conduction velocity test. And her neurologist said, look, I can't really see anything wrong. I don't know why it's not getting better after a few months. Go see Abraham. So she came to see us, and I had a doctoral student, Nicole Dudley, and Nicole, after the eval, she said, I really want to use eStim. And I said, that's exactly what I was thinking, but can you find me support in the literature? So Nicole went and she did some research and she found a case study, which is really a low-level evidence, but it was enough to give us the impetus to go ahead and try it. So we did traditional rehab, strength training and focused rehabilitation to the damaged tissue, but we also added in eStim for the nerve regeneration, and Erica responded really, really beautifully. Certainly it wasn't the only treatment that we did, but in today's culture and climate of rehab, where we really don't look favorably on eStim for any rehabilitative purposes other than placebo for pain, it was really refreshing to see how her nerve recovered. I'm really, really proud of her recovery. I guess you can say the proof is in the pudding. She hadn't gotten better on her own in about 60, 90 days, and then she had a rapid recovery when she started with us. So another happy customer, gives us excitement, and I'm really proud of our doctoral student, Nicole, and I think she's going to be really great in her growth as well.
My main career is as a civil engineer, but I'm also working on a side career in boxing. There's a lot of training that goes into that. Outside of actual training at the gym, I run a mile every day and then walk usually 3 miles with my dog. So it's a lot of physical demand. Like in boxing, you usually have a minute between rounds, but we like to train with 30-second breaks just to kind of increase our endurance and recovery times. Back in May of 2021, so last year, I was running with my dog in the morning like I do every morning, and we were attacked by a cane corso. And for those that don't know, that's the 100-something pound dog, and I think it actually has the strongest bite in terms of pounds per square inch. I was bit on my leg. I had to get stitches, and I thought that would kind of just be the end of things. The muscle started atrophying and just my leg started getting smaller and smaller. I noticed that it just kind of felt a little bit numb. Everything just felt very dull if I touched it, and I didn't really put 2 and 2 together with that until I noticed that my leg just started buckling all the time. And in boxing, that's a very big deal, because if your leg buckles when you're in a fight or something, then even if you just touch the canvas for a split second, they still will count that as a knockdown. So I went to a neurologist, and he was able to determine that I had femoral neuropathy from that injury. That's how I got referred to Bel Air Physical Therapy. And he highly recommended Dr. Lieberman, and he said that would be a really good place for me to get physical therapy. So I went with his recommendation, and I am definitely glad that I did. Everyone was just super nice and really great to work with. They were obviously just so knowledgeable. It was really interesting when I went there and they were kind of doing the initial diagnostic tests, and they were using a filament to see where I had numbness in my leg, and so I had my eyes closed during all of it, and then afterwards they showed me that the exact region where I was numb was the region that was controlled by that branch of the femoral nerve. So that was definitely really interesting. It was just a relief to know exactly what was wrong, and they seemed to know how to get me on the right track to fix it. And even after the first session, just seeing how much things were starting to quickly improve, it was really encouraging. At the last session, all of the sensation was back in my leg. So when they did the filament test, there weren't any numb areas. The muscle atrophy, it stopped and it reversed itself. So my leg grew by, I want to say they said it was like 1 centimeter in circumference. But yeah, the muscle has just increased in size, and that's been really encouraging. The patella pain went away after probably like halfway through. So that was really great because that was just a really annoying secondary side effect. And my leg doesn't buckle anymore, so it's just really great. I would just like to say again, like, thank you. And I'm so appreciative of the treatment that I received at Beller Physical Therapy. It just makes all the difference to me to be able to do all of my physical activities without this pain in my leg or something hindering it. And I'm really excited to be able to start competing again. And so it's great to have that given back to me.